Tim from Timography, and welcome to our quick little video blog post here in our client lounge room here in our little home studio. Today we're going to be talking about the newly released, well, new for Nikon at least, newly released Pocketwizard TCL triggers. We've got here the mini TT1 transmitter, which goes on top of your camera, and we also have the Flex TT5 transceiver. This little guy can go on top of your camera as a transmitter or on the top with the flash rather as a remote. Very cool little devices. We have talked about different ways of triggering your flashes remotely in the past. We've done a shoot using Nikon CLS or Creative Lighting System, using that system indoors with reasonable success. It works quite well if you've got walls or ceilings to bounce the signal off, and you have a Nikon. Most of the D series cameras have a pop-up flash. You can use this as the transmitter, which will or won't contribute its actual flash itself to the exposure, but use it as a transmitter or a master unit, if you will, and your speed light, whether it be or all the Nikon speed lights can be used as, all the current Nikon speed lights can be used as remote flashes in the CLS system. As we've shown, it works really well as long as you're indoors with something to bounce the light around. The system does work to a degree outdoors, sort of dawn, dusk, lower light periods, works quite well, but anything middle of the day or anything really from like 10 till 3 in the afternoon, when you've got a lot of sun, the system really doesn't work that well if you're more than a few feet away, the camera to the flash unit, because it is just an infrared signal between the two devices, between the master unit or commander rather on your camera and the remote flashes. These aren't very powerful in themselves, so you're limited quite a lot with distance. It works a bit better if you put a more powerful flash on top of your camera and use, for example, an SB900 here as the commander. Obviously much more powerful and also more directional as well. You can really aim this at your remote flashes, which helps to extend that distance to about 10 or 12 feet. But again, that's really about all it was, especially in a really bright sort of sunny day. The system really didn't work that well outdoors. But now we've got the Pocketwizards finally being released for Nikon. These things are fantastic. They've got a range of over 1,000 feet, I think. I don't know of a situation where you need more distance than that, but hey, you can do it. There's a lot of flexibility with these little devices, so what we'll do is just now have a very quick step through of the two different units, the mini TT1 transmitter and the Flex TT5 transceiver, this little guy here. So let's have a bit of a quick look. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just a quick walkthrough of the mini TT1 transmitter. This guy is just a transmitter. It just simply goes onto the hot shoe of your flash. As soon as you put the transmitter onto the camera and turn it on, the camera thinks that it actually has a flash in its hot shoe, which is a great part of the system. You can put another speed light on top of the hot shoe of the mini itself, so you can stack the camera, transmitter and another hot shoe flash, which we'll cover very shortly, giving you a whole range of possibilities and sort of creative abilities with the system. So we'll just have a quick visual now of how the whole system goes together. The smallest Pocketwizard radio ever, the mini TT1 transmitter is part of a new generation of Pocketwizard radios providing ITTL and power control capabilities with Nikon speed lights. The mini TT1 locks onto the camera's hot shoe, supporting an on-camera flash with its own hot shoe while working with remote Pocketwizard units. The mini TT1 transmitter is easy to use, just slide it in place and begin to shoot. The new Pocketwizard controls TL system interprets the complex CLS data being sent through the camera's hot shoe and digitally transmit it into a reliable radio system. If you change your ISO on the camera, it will be reflected onto the flash unit. If you change your focal length, if you change your shutter speed or aperture, the flash will also recommend or relate those changes as well. All in all, very cool system. So we'll have a look now at the TT5s. Okay, the bigger brother of the mini TT1 is the Flex TT5 transceiver. This guy can be used as a transmitter or a receiver, unlike the mini, which is just a transmitter. So you can put this one on top of your camera in the same way that you would a mini, with all the same functions, but you could also use it as a transceiver with your flash mounted onto the hot shoe of the unit. We'll give a very quick run through now of how this all goes together. It is very quick and simple. With its built-in hot shoe and Control TL firmware and transceiver function, the Flex TT5 is the perfect addition to the Nikon CLS flash system and takes Nikon CLS technology beyond the boundaries of infrared technology. When paired with another another mini TT1 transmitter or another Flex TT5, a whole lot of possibilities opens up. You can use multiple flexes assigned to the same channel or different channels. You can still use all of the grouping features that you can use with Nikon CLS, which we'll show very shortly. A really versatile little transceiver, this guy. Really good range as well, as we mentioned, same as the mini TT1, of course, over 1,000 feet. Awesome stuff. So let's have a quick look now at how to use the system in a couple of different circumstances. Okay, it really is a simple matter of simply grabbing the TT1 mini transmitter, putting it onto your hot shoe, powering on the transmitter first and then your camera. First step, that's good to go. Now we get our hot shoe flash, SP900 in this case, put it onto the Flex TT5, turn on the flash first and then the transmitter, or transceiver in this case, pop out the aerial and you're good to go. It gives that little calibration flash there. It's that simple. One important thing though, to save you a bit of trouble, is to follow the power up and shut down procedure. The Pocketwizard recommends that you power on the system from the top down. For example, turn on the transmitter first, then the camera. Turn off the camera, then the transmitter. If you had a hot shoe flash on top, here I've got a little SP800 which we'll use. The power procedure is to put the flash on, turn on the flash, turn on the transmitter, turn on the camera. Good to go. Very simple. So once we've done that, seeing as I have all this turned on, it really is just a case of it's all good to go, so we can start taking shots all over the place. Very cool. It's that simple. So as I explained, to turn the system off, transmitter first, or receiver in this instance, turn off the flash, turn off the camera, and then power off the transmitter. Very easy. Another cool way to do this, if you've got more than one Flex TT5 and flashes, here we've got a couple of different ones here. What you can do is use multiple flashes and assign them all as one group of light. So, for example, we're going to turn on the mini TT1 here, turn on the camera as we would normally do. The shutter speed automatically has gone to a 60th of a second. The camera thinks there's a flash on the hot shoe. So we turn on our first flash first, then the transmitter or receiver, I keep getting them wrong. Turn on the second flash first and then the receiver, and then we turn on the third flash first, then the receiver. Now, as far as the camera goes, all of these flashes here are working as one group of light. So all the same power, all the same meter TTL. So if I go and take a photo, hopefully you can see that they are all going off as one group of light, which is very cool. Now we'll have a look at how to use the system a couple of different ways. Okay, so let's say that you wanted to also have a flash on top of your camera to provide some on-axis fill light along with the off-axis remote flash that you're going to have with your Flex and the hot shoe flash rather. Very simple. All that we do is, I'll use this one here, put on our flash onto the mini, turn the flash on. Now one important thing to remember here at this stage as well is that we're just turning the flash onto its normal mode, not onto, this is an SP900, so we're not turning it to remote, nor are we turning it to master. We're just simply leaving it in normal TTL operation. That goes for the remotes at this stage as well, okay? So turning on our flash just onto normal TTL, turning the transmitter on, turning the flash on. We've got a little pre-flash here, I don't know if you saw it in the video. That's good to go. So now we'll just simply follow the same routine as last time. Turn on the flash first and then the remote, or the remote trigger. Then turn on the second flash and also turn on the transceiver. And again, we're good to go. We can start, I don't know if you can see those flashes there, maybe if I do that you can see them. We can start flashing away and all those flashes, I don't know if you can see in the video, are actually all going off. Very cool stuff. Okay, so now this is where the system starts to get really cool. It does allow you to use the full capability of the Nikon CLS system in regards to assigning different flashes to different groups with different modes and different levels of power output, which is awesome. Very simple to set up. Make sure you follow this routine though. I'm just going to use an SB800 here. I've set it to commander mode. Now we have shown you how to do that in previous videos. So this is set to commander mode on top of the for this flash, which is going on top of my hot shoe, or into the hot shoe rather, of the Mini TT1. So in that guy goes. I turn this on the remote. Sorry, the transmitter. Keep getting them confused. And then we turn on the camera. So now on our menu here, we've got 4 different groups, M for being the on-camera flash or the master flash, and groups A, B and C. So that's now set up, ready to go, and I can change groups A, B and C, the metering modes and also the power output, same way I would for using just regular Nikon CLS without the triggers. So it works in exactly the same way as far as the master unit and the mini transmitter are concerned. What we need to do here though is our remotes, when we turn on the flash, we don't put them onto remote mode, whether it's a SB900, 800, 700 or a 600, you just leave it in standard ITTL mode on the flash. Really important, otherwise it won't work. What we do then is we turn on our transceiver, power it up with the power button. We also have another switch here, which hopefully you're seeing now on the video, marked A, B or C. Now A, B or C correspond to the groups that you've got within Nikon CLS. So for example, if this flash is on group A, I would set the switch to group A. I want this flash to be group B, so I turn this flash on to standard ITTL, not remote, just standard ITTL, turn on the flex receiver and wait for the flash. There it is, and I'll turn the modes or the selector switch here to B, and so on for additional flashes. So you could have, and there's no limit, you can have 5 flashes assigned to group A, 10 to group B, 3 to group C for example. There's really no limit to the number of units that you're using, which is fantastic. So just remember those rules. Set your master or commander flash on top of your camera in the same way that you normally would using CLS. Set your remote flashes, when you turn on the flash, do not put it in remote mode. Just put it into standard ITTL regular shooting mode. However, you use the selector channel switch here, A, B or C, on the flex TT5 transceiver to determine which particular signal it's going to receive, A, B or C, depending upon the corresponding groups A, B or C on the master unit. It sounds a little bit tricky to start with, but you do it a couple of times, really easy to do, set up literally in seconds. Okay, so that's about it for this quick little introduction. We'll be doing further videos in the future showing the system out in the field in use. Really cool stuff. Awesome for weddings. We do a lot of weddings, so you know, the ability to turn up at a location, turn on your gear, shoot, get minted TTL shots, jump back in their car and go to the next location is awesome. In fact, my favourite way to use the system is utilising this Lastolite tri-grip holder with 3 SB900s and the 3 flex triggers, receivers rather. This is my little daylight killer. It just allows us to, again, do the whole running gun thing, turn up, bright, midday, overhead, full sun, pop this thing up, turn it all on, get metered TTL results, jump in the car and move on. No problems overpowering the daylight. We get it because we've got 3 flashes dispersing the light rather than 1 going at full whack. You've got 3 sort of not working as hard and spreading the light a little bit more. You get a really nice even spread of light. We're able to group the light groups up to 8 people in full midday sun with this little baby using the Pocketwizard system. Fantastic in use, fantastic reliable service, or system rather. That's about it. As I mentioned, I hope you've enjoyed this quick little video. If there's anything else that you want us to share or talk about in the future, please send us an email to the address that you're seeing down about here. Otherwise, take care and we'll catch you next time.